Episode 1. The story opens up with three adventurers who were fighting against a dragon. Even if it was 3 against 1, the adventurers' party was losing, and on the other side, we see an owl. He was a farmer, and at that moment a status window opens up in front of him, which tells him that his farming skills have reached level 10. As Al was enjoying this, his friend Testa comes there. Al tells Testa the good news, on which Testa says that he admires him. Although Testa was a fisherman, his skill hasn't reached level 10, whereas Al already reached level 10 in farming as well as fishing. And his attack point was absurdly high, reaching 72,000 status points. Al suddenly remembers that he had to go to the capital to sell his crops. He leaves, and on his way, he sees the dragon. He thinks that if he can distract the dragon even for a little while, the adventurers will have a chance to strike it down. He throws a carrot at the dragon, but to his astonishment, the dragon explodes. He now remembers that it was because of his high attack power. Al quickly flees the scene, and the adventurers, who were still shocked by what happened, find some carriage tracks on the road which were going toward the capital. At the gate of the capital, a girl was being abducted, but Al saves her. He didn't want to waste any time, so he quickly leaves and goes to sell his crops. When he was coming back to the gates, the guards stop him, and he asks that if he has done anything wrong. The girl whom he saved comes there and tells him that it was her order. She then introduces herself as the princess. She offers Al to join her army, but Al humbly denies her offer and says that he just wanted to work in his fields. At that time, those adventurers also come there and tell everyone that the dragon was killed. They say that it was not killed by them, but a mysterious powerful person killed it, and they found tracks which lead to the capital. Princess figures out that it was Al, but by then Al already left the scene. A soldier comes to the princess and informs her that she was requested by the king to come back to the palace. In the palace, king and princess are informed that a large number of monsters who were being controlled by someone was heading towards the capital. They say that it was another hell zone. King gets shocked and says, how can that be possible? The leader of the monster, the demon lord, was already slain by the hero, and the remaining demons had signed a peace treaty. Officer Cecil says that maybe it was their plan from the beginning. He says that maybe the first commander from the Demon King army, Romeo Vended, wanted to take revenge, and that's why he came up with this plan. Everyone suggests that the king and the princess should leave the capital, but the king says no. His followers persuade him, so he finally accepts their proposal. At night, Testa tells Al about the attack and says that he should leave at once. But Al was more worried about his crops at that time, so he goes to check them. On the other hand, Officer Cecil brings the king and the princes to a dead end. They get surrounded by the monster, and Cecil reveals his true identity. He was Romeo. They all fight, but the King's was losing. At that moment, Al comes there and saves them. Romeo tries his best and attacks Al with all his might, but Al easily defeats him. After Romeo's defeat, all the demon run away. In the palace, king offers Al a position in the army, but he says no and tells them that he only liked to grow crops. The princess awards Al with 33,000 square feet of land and asks him to join the guild, as the threat of the monster was still not over. Al accepts the deal. Episode 2. The princess takes Al all around the town, and he asks her that is it okay for you to be here. Princess says that her double was posing as her, and because she is wearing an artifact, no one will recognize her. As Al enters the guild master comes there and meets him. He tells him that he was waiting for him. He takes Al and goes to a receptionist. Al's stomach starts making loud noise because he was hungry, and the receptionist takes and offers him food. She tells him that her name was Helen. And at that time, those three adventurers also come there and meet him. They introduce themselves and tell Al their names, Jake, Luke, and Lamia. Lamia says to Al that in the future he can ask them for help, and they leave. Helen tells Al about the ranks of the adventurers, which started from G rank up to SS rank. She tells Al that he will be starting as a G-rank adventurer and gives him a G-rank quest. As Al didn't have any protective gear, she gives Al a robe that enhances one's defense. While picking up herbs from the forest, Al is attacked by a female orc, but Jake saves him. While they all were talking, they soon feel a tremendous amount of fear and pressure. A black dragon passes by them, and Al tries to look at its status, which scares everyone. At night, Helen wakes up because of a nightmare. At the guild, Helen's foster mother asks her if she was okay. She tells Helen to go to the doctor after her work. Al comes and says that he had something urgent to report. At the meeting, Al and the adventurers discuss the dragon and say that it might be the evil dragon Ouroboros. Soon Helen faints, and Al goes to see her, where her foster mother tells Al that she found Helen 15 years ago, laying on side of a lake, but except for her name, she remembers nothing of her past. Al says that he will help her and goes to find the information about her and her link to Ouroboros. Al gets help from the princes, and they find that 15 years ago Honoru village was destroyed by it. Al decides to go there, and the princess joins him. At Honoru village, Al hears a voice of a kid, and soon he sees him, but the princess was not able to see him. Al asks him was he a ghost, and the kid says yes and tells Al that his name was Ray. Episode 3. Ray tells Al about his past and the fact that he was Helen's brother. One day Ouroboros attacked their village and killed everyone. While running, Helen trips and Ray stops to pick her up. Ouroboros catches them and kills Ray. Ouroboros says to Helen that after 15 years he will return to kill her and everyone in the town. Ray says to Al that Ouroboros feeds on despair and fear. This gives him power. Al, after listening to him, picks up the princess on his shoulder and runs towards the town because Helen's life was in danger. After reaching the town's gate, they split to find her. Helen goes to the forest while holding a knife. Ouroboros appears in front of her and says, I have come back to kill you and your friends. Helen, who was already in despair, points the knife toward her throat and says that she will kill me. Ouroboros says that it doesn't matter to him because after her death he will kill all of her friends and will destroy the whole town. After hearing it, she fell into deep despair. As she was about to end her life, Al comes and stops her. He tells her to hide and says that he will protect her. Ouroboros and Al starts to fight and Al seems to be losing. Helen tells him to run away and says that it was her fault. Her brother also died because of her. Al says, I met your brother and he told me that after regaining your memory, you will blame yourself. He told me that he was proud that he died while protecting his sister and he wants you to be happy. Listening to this, all of Helen's despair vanishes. Because of this, Ouroboros' power greatly decreases and now he tries to kill Al so that he won't interrupt his plans any further. But now Al's power was much greater than Ouroboros, so he easily defeats him. While Al was happy thinking everything was over, Helen comes and stabs him. Episode 4. Helen stabs Al. And while trying to figure out what happened, Al jumps back to drink his healing potion but accidentally drops it. He asks Helen, why did you do this? Helen laughs and was about to kill Al when the holy dragon Mirage comes there and saves Al. Mirage tells Al that it was not Helen. Ouroboros has possessed Helen's body and was controlling him. He says to Al, I will give him my power, so you must defeat him. If you want to save your friend, you will have to break her defense and use my power to purify the evil dragon. After giving Al his power, Mirage falls to the ground. On the other hand, the princess gathers her army to stop Ouroboros if Al somehow fails. Al's wound was healed because of Mirage's power and he was about to fight Ouroboros, but he was reluctant to attack Helen's body. While Possess was trying to taunt Al, Al swiftly attacks him. Ouroboros now tries to Al's body, but because of his Al mind, which was always thinking about farming, he fails to do so. Mirage gets up and purifies Ouroboros' evil spirit with his holy powers and thanks Al. He soon vanishes and Al collapses due to exhaustion. Upon waking up, he sees the princes and Helen. Helen shows Al her new powers. Because Ouroboros possessed her, she gained a power that turns her arms and legs into dragon arms and legs. She had full control over it. Soon the guild master along with the adventurers comes to meet Al and they throw a party for his victory. In the Piatti, princess tells Al that she is happy that he won. She tells her that although she had gathered her army, she knew that except Al, no one was strong enough to face Ouroboros. Al goes back to his village where he meets Testa. They both go towards Al's house and soon a postman named Rick comes there with a letter from Al's father. Testa asks if this is from your mother, to which Al says no, it's from my father. Al reads the letter in which his father told him to come to meet them. He also sends him money for his travel and says, you haven't visited us in a long while, have you found a girlfriend? The next day, Al goes to the guild and tells Helen that he had to go visit his parents and requests that his quest should be put on hold or should be transferred to the guild in the other city. Helen says that it was not a problem. Helen says that she was happy and also informs Al that she was promoted to rank F because of the Ouroboros incident and because she had awakened powers. While leaving the guild, Al runs into the princess, who says to Al that she was ready to go on a new quest with him. But Al tells her that he was going to meet his parents, and the princess says that's a good thing, I will also go with you. And that's all for today, guys. Stay tuned to get more new videos. Stay safe and keep watching.